Fox is in a kind of trouble, and it's far bigger than Donald Trump. It's far bigger than, myself and Lou Dobbs and Bongino and Tucker all being gone. It's to do with the industry itself, because the industry is changing pretty rapidly. Bob Iger told us this the other day, right? Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney, who's got his own problems with, the woke Snow White situation. Bob Iger made this point when he was talking about how he needed to get rid of these legacy industries, one of which was television, because television has changed and is changing so rapidly as we move to this streaming platform. And so the mechanism by which it's delivered, the information, how it's delivered, is not as important anymore. It's the information, it's the content itself. And so it's a problem for these companies that are, traditional media companies. I mean, Fox News is facing a far bigger problem than whether or not Donald Trump shows up at the debate. He's not going to show up at the debate. He's going to go sit down with Tucker Carlson, and they're going to blow it away in terms of ratings, in terms of overall coverage, et cetera, et cetera. And so good for them. Like it's monumental in that it tells us something much bigger, which is that people are drawn to the candidates. They're drawn to the personalities. They're not drawn necessarily to the network itself. Just like I've always said, I even think that the party system could start to get fractured, because Donald Trump, don't forget, historically was a Democrat, right? He'd always been a Democrat in New York. He decided to run as a Republican. And I knew so many Democrats that switched over and they voted. They used to be Bernie Sanders supporters, actually, strangely. We'll leave that aside for now. But Bernie Sanders had an authenticity that was important. I don't like his message. I don't believe in the communist system. No good for America, but there was an authenticity there that was real. He had a consistent message. He had stayed on message, and there were no sort of like bells and whistles. He didn't have all the trappings of the cable news network. And so when I say Fox has problems, it's because as it navigates its way through these changing dynamics, it's not going to be able to pay these big giant salaries anymore because, it can't. It's not going to be as profitable a business. And the people that can make the big giant salaries, they don't need to be at Fox. Just like the politicians that are doing well don't need to be at Fox. And so this is a tremendous independent kind of movement that I'm loving, like personally, right? I love seeing this and I love being part of. I love that you're here. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, by the way, before I forget, and I'm going to put this in the notes, make sure you go over and you subscribe to the Trish Regan show on Apple. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. If anybody could, maybe put it in the show. Like I know we're in the comments and reactions. I'll put it in the show notes section, but I don't have the link totally handy. But if you wouldn't mind putting up the Apple podcast for everybody and the Spotify podcast as well, it would be great if you could go over there and subscribe to it. It's all free. But this is the changing movement that we're all part of here together. And this is what is so exciting. And so I think that Fox is going to struggle. They're not going to get the ratings that they want. They're going to pretend like everything was fine. They're going to pretend like it was cool to just have Donald Trump over the loudspeaker saying something and everybody reacting to it. But the point is, you're having a GOP debate and you don't have the front runner for the GOP there in the slot. Could he change his mind at the 11th hour? That's what they are hoping. And so that's what this pressure campaign is about. They're going to keep putting the Karl Rove of the world on, saying, he's too chicken. And they hope that they can sort of like goad him into it. I don't think it's going to happen. I did see a headline today that Kimberly Guilfoyle, my former colleague there at Fox, and Don Jr. are going to attend. I think that's interesting. It's almost like a bit of a warning, right? Like it's like, hey guys, keep it together or else. If too many of those folks go sort of the Chris Christie route, where you get Kimberly and Don Jr. there in the audience watching their move, right? And so maybe that'll have some effect on maybe trying to keep people sort of not just all bashing him. Because if it turns into a bash session, that's not good either. And this looks like a whole bunch of sour grapes, if you would. Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.